But send the message, bruh. Send the message. Send the message. You back.
We want to win, but not at all costs.
I want the Instagram Ken. I want the guy who wrote that message. When he said F this, F blah, I want that guy. I don't want the guy that was under my table. He's been stuck under the table. Ken's here. I don't know who that guy is out there. I don't want that guy. I want the guy that was giving the business. They gave me the business. He gave me the business. I want that guy. Hey guys, what's up? It's your boy James Stewart. Round 2, baby. Round 2 from HANGTOWN, Sacramento. We went up north. We still in California. We just went up about 8 hours north if you're driving a vehicle. Otherwise, you can an hour plane fly. But this is round 2, Lucas Oil Motocross. We had last weekend, it was raining red. It was raining red, literally. You had Jet Lawrence doing his thing, Chase Sexton doing his thing, Hunter doing his thing, and even the German chocolate, Ken Roczen. So let's see if that's on repeat, or will it be a different color this weekend? So round 2, Lucas Oil Motocross from HANGTOWN. Let's get into it. So HANGTOWN, this is usually the first stop of the motocross season. When I raced, HANGTOWN was always the first one, either that one or Glen Helen, but most of the time for me, it was always you came here. And I talked about last weekend how I felt like Paula was like the first, like a good test, the first opening race track wise. Everybody's pretty comfortable because they practice there during the week, they test there, compared to coming up to this place where it's notorious, usually choppy. But this weekend, the soil actually looked good. I thought they did a pretty good job at the track as far as keeping the soil, and it seemed overcast, so there was a lot of moisture that got held into it. So it wasn't that normal like blue groove, like super hard pack. So it was another great weekend of another test, another good track, and I think it helped most of these guys to kind of keep away from the arm pump and make it for a raceable track. So overall, the fans looked like they came out. It was another cool day up in California, and we had some pretty good racing. I think it was more Chase Sexton doing his thing. He had 2 great starts, and last weekend I talked about how I felt like Eli, he struggled with the motorcycle. He looked like he was kind of riding a little bit timid, and from the weekday report, kind of seemed like that was the case. This weekend he rode a little bit better. I still think overall like he's kind of in the same situation, but we'll kind of talk about that. And also I talked about how Jason Anderson maybe get a neck burn this weekend. Who knows? We'll get in that too. I felt like he needed to come up and have a good race win, a good performance, whether that was a moto win or overall. Coming off the Supercross season, winning the last 4 or 5 races, trying to carry that momentum into motocross where he's never won before and overall. So he stepped up this weekend. So Eli and Jason stepped up, and they almost had to, because you had Chase Sexton and Ken Roczen up there still doing what they do, and they had 2 weekends of running up front, and they got to slow these boys down, otherwise it's going to get away from them. So overall, the guys that I think would be in for the title hunt are the guys that was either up front this weekend, and they definitely showed up and performed. And you can tell Jason showed up at this race with a little bit more of aggressiveness. And not to say he didn't have that at the first race, which I think he did, because obviously he rode good from going down in the first corner. But this weekend showed me a guy who really kind of believes in his program and believes in what he's doing and his fitness, because at one point Chase was like 6 or 7 seconds in front of him, and JC's like just slowly like kept doing what he does, and El Hombre threatened to shoot everybody. He was probably making noises and doing his thing, and he just slowly like caught back up to Chase, and I think that was big for him personally, and also to kind of send a message to everybody that he's here. And you could tell when Chase responded, but Jason obviously held it on, and Chase talked about that at the finish line after the race on the podium. He said that he knew El Hombre was behind him, Jason was there, and he knew he was going to be strong. So I think that kind of goes to the point of like I said, the mind's a powerful thing, perception's a powerful thing, where you got certain guys you race with, how kind of dictates what you do. Last weekend I was talking about having Chase having Ken up there, it was the best thing for him because he can just kind of focus on his teammate and then, just look forward to that and racing his teammate, beating his teammate, compared to having someone like Jason behind him or Eli, where you don't ride with them during the week and their tendencies are a little bit different. And I think this weekend you saw that because I believe if it was Ken in second, I think Chase would have probably held on to that. But the fact is, like, it was Jason, and he knows he's going to be strong. And he knows that his fitness and just the way Jason rides, like once he catches you, he's going to do whatever it takes to get around you. And I think that's what played out. And Chase did a good job at salvaging and getting second and then still putting the fight up to him. But overall, like that's the difference where I say like certain riders you race against and you kind of know what their tendencies are. Some guys are fast in the beginning. Some guys are strong at the end. Some guys you don't want behind your ass because they know they're going to blast you like Justin Barsha, you don't want him around you. Jason, aggressive, not dirty, aggressive. And they use that stuff as an advantage and uses that stuff to race against the guys that are in front of him. And I don't think Jason was the fastest person in that moto because clearly Chase at one point was gone. But when it got to, 15, 20 minutes into the race, I think that's where the whole Jason and his mindset and what Chase thought about him kicked in, and Jason was able to close that gap and make the pass. So it was cool to see. It was good to see for some good racing this year. And I think these 3-4 guys between hopefully Ken stays there, Jason, Eli, and Chase, I think those are starting to be the guys that's going to round up, even though I had my RD coffee last weekend. He struggled this weekend, but I think between those 5 guys, I think that's where your championship's going to come from, and it's going to be about the guys who consistency and like eliminate the DNFs and stuff. But it was a good race. Yeah, last weekend I said Ryan Dungey was going to win a championship. Now, if I did tell Cole to cut that out, and he didn't, but no, I still stand behind that. Like I think when you look at Ryan's history, Ryan is, I don't know why. Usually this is like one of the first races, but Ryan's not good here. Like he's never been good. I don't know if he's even won HANGTOWN before. I know his first year in the rookie in 2010. I mean, I don't even know if he finished on the podium when he won the title that year. And then 2011, Villapoto beat him. 2012, I got him. And then, so the history between Ryan and this particular track isn't that strong. So I think coming into it, it's not surprising to see him struggling. I would say this weekend, it looked like a guy who's been away for 5 years more this weekend than he did last weekend. But it is Ryan Dungey. It is a champion. And I still got my coffee. I'm waiting for it to show up in the mail. And you just don't underestimate champions. You don't. Cooper Webb, if he's racing, he has a chance to win. And I think with Ryan, I would say this weekend was just a weekend. He definitely struggled. But from his past history and stuff, I've seen this struggle more often at this particular track than anything else. So if he has another couple races like that, then my take was just an idiotic, and maybe it is. But, I just go off of, what I say. And what I said is that he's going to win it. And hopefully, he comes back up. But I think the only issue he has right now is that these guys are good. That's it. That he's good. Chase Sexton, Jason Anderson, they ride good. And they're fast and they're smooth. And the Honda boys, they get starts. And when you're racing in this situation, in Supercross, I think starts are more important. But when these guys are so close like they are, you almost start leaning into the facts of like, okay, what is this guy does better than the other one? Because when you look at Jason and Chase, when they go around the whole racetrack, one might be better here. And this weekend, it was really, really odd and cool to see that you could see Jason like literally lose like a second and a half on one side of the track and then make up 2 seconds on the other side. And it was cool. The overhead, the drone shot, you can visually watch the way their lines were around the whole racetrack. And, so I think when you get this close at the end of the lap, like they all even back out, they come back together. So then you start putting out, okay, if they're that close, what is this guy does better? Well, if I had to put my money on, Chase gets good starts. Like, I mean, he's been up front all year. The first 4 motos, he's been up front, either pulling whole shots or right there. And I think Jason, even though his starts are good, they're not better than Chase. So long term, when you get good starts, that's less trouble. There's less accidents like Jason had last weekend, getting caught up in the first corner. Chase is taking some of that out. So if these guys are so close, then you start looking at starts. You're looking at fitness. I think they're both in shape. And consistency comes off of fitness and starts. So you have to start really, pin and nitpicking, in the long term, what one guy, the mistakes that could potentially come compared to like, okay, if one guy gets better starts, then he's eliminating some of the things. So this weekend, it just looked like they both got good starts, and Chase was faster. Jason was stronger in a sense. And, he was able to get it done. But then the second moto, Jason was in third place. He couldn't catch those guys. And then you had ET come up, and Chase was right there. So nonetheless, I could tell Chase is riding a little bit different this year. I think he's taking the second places and kind of taking defeats and, whatever. ET was faster than him. So be it, got second. Jason was faster, so be it, got second. And at the end of the day, he has the red plate still, extended his points lead, and those guys got to catch him. So it was good. So back to my pick with Dungey, like, he has that problem. And, it's not like you have in 2012, there was only one, maybe 2 guys that was really there that can outrun him, myself and, maybe a guy here and there. Or here, like, if you got like 4 or 5 guys that might be just as fast as you or faster, and you're losing the ground in the beginning, then that means there's 4 or 5 people that got to make mistakes, and you got to capitalize and make up time on 4 people instead of just 1. So that makes it tough. And if you don't get a good start, then the likelihood of you actually outrunning those guys isn't that good. And I think that's going to be Ryan's issue this year if he continues like the first couple races. So, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think he's going to figure it out, and he's going to be up there battling with those boys. And ultimately, these first 2 tracks, I would say 100%, they favor a real technical guy. I think the track allowed Chase to be able to stand up, do his thing. The ruts were, you were able to stand up, do the ruts. You were able to kind of jump around the racetrack just like Paula. It's not like a super high speed where it's like the Unadilla or, Southwick where the bike's moving all over the place. I think this track allowed Chase and even with Ken to kind of hop around and be super technical. So I think they favored these 2 guys really well, the first 2. So we'll see how that transitions as the rest of the year goes on. But nonetheless, they look really good. But definitely the track and the weather and just the way they're feeling. It's you can't ask for a better start if you wasn't the Honda guys for sure. So Antonio pulls a whole shot right here, and clearly he's like pumped. He's got free tickets to Disney World. He had a scrub on there, and when he scrubbed his ass from first to third real quick. He was like, oh, these Americans, they trying to attack me. But I think that's like the privateer that pulls a whole shot and does a knack over the triple. Like they just that's like Bogle. Like Bogle, when he holds shots, he pulls a knack for people. Bogle ain't no privateer, and he's on a different level. He's won races, won championship before. So as Tony, he's won 9 of them. But he was happy to be up front and get some TV time. They talked about him. And yeah, he pulled that thing and he was like, wow, pepperonis on my pizza. Woo, boom, boom. The guys jumped all over him. He was like, no, they ain't stealing my ticket. So it was cool to see him up. And then it was like a European flavor. You German, Italians up front, and then you had the American on second. But he was just happy to be there. I ain't gonna lie to you people. He was happy to be there, and he went backwards pretty quickly. So when you look at the track, they changed it up for sure. They had this new section in there where they had like some almost like rollers up into the stairway to heaven or whatever they want to call it, a step up that's been there for years. But you had a run into it and had some rollers. So, I think it's like I liked that part, but I also think like when they start putting these single jumps in here and they put these things to slow the routers down, and it's to slow them down, but it's also to slow lap times down. Like they wanted around 2 minutes and stuff, and so they started putting these wall jumps in there, it just makes it one-lined. And if you look at this track, as many ruts as they had, it was half the track was one-lined. Like if you were in front of somebody, you could just literally move over like a couple feet and block them. So if you didn't get the guy right before that new section they put in, like you were stuck until the finish line jump. Like you couldn't really pass him unless he made a mistake, because everything just kind of funneled in. So they used to have this big old like quad 120-foot jump right here where Ken and Chase is going to. But if you look at right here, they funnel into the inside, and then you couldn't do anything. Like you would jump over that, and if you didn't, like Chase did, you had to go a different, obstacle. But everything funneled in back to, okay, Ken's going to inside. He just, goes out, cuts Chase off again. So there he goes. He can't pass. Chase has to funnel back in right before the mechanics area. Can't pass right there. And this corner, even though like you can either go outside like Chase did or inside, it was slower to go outside for a while, but it funnels back in. And then you hit the mechanics area, it funnels back in. So all that was dictated off of like, that new section they put in. Like you basically cut out 45 seconds of the track, and it was basically one-lined. And believe it or not, like when you start getting these tracks, like it almost makes it where the guy in front can relax. Like he knows certain parts of the track. Like Ken knew there's only like, 3, 4, 5 corners where I need to attack, sections where I need to attack and really charge to keep Chase behind me. Otherwise, like once I get to here, this step up jump in the middle part, he can't pass me. He's gonna have to funnel in. All right, now I'm going down this downhill. Now I need to just blitz down here, keep my momentum up and speed up so he can't catch me, because this is another section that he can actually pass. All right, I stay in front of him right here. Chase tries to, scrub underneath him. And this is another section that if Ken just, stays in front of Chase or keeps Chase side by side, he can go out right here and block him. I think Ken was being super nice here and just letting his teammate go. But if anybody else, he could have blocked that section. So you look at this track, even though it was good and had some, cool sections to it, when they start putting these singles in here, it really narrows the track up. And that was the only downside I saw in this whole racetrack, was that they had a lot of options. And I think the track, because they were trying to slow it down from this new section they put in there and putting these wall jumps in there, it really made the track super narrow. So when you get those narrow tracks, then you can get a guy who can lead some laps and stay in front of the guys just by moving over a couple feet. So that was the only negative on it. But overall, I think the Dirt Diggers, they always do a good job at the tracks. Every year, HANGTOWN's always gotten better and better. And I'm glad they got out this little half pipe, weird looking thing, because that was another one-line section. But I think they could have done without this little single jump before the mechanics area. At least guys could have, carried speed and went closer to the mechanics area and squared it up. But when you put that there, it made it again back to one line and funneled in. So, and as I say that, I guess the proof is when you got guys like Ken and Chase battling, and you had Eli in Indian 250 class, it was the same thing with Joe. If you don't think what I'm saying about one line is true, just look how much the third place guy caught. Or if somebody's battling, 2 guys are battling, look how much the guy behind him catches him. And that's why I go back to that one line, because the guy up front can just slow down and cut Chase off or cut whoever off, and then the guy in third place is just coming up. So that's all because the one line part of the track. So it was, again, track design, dirt, moisture, all that's good. I just think they could have alleviated those parts of the sections. Yeah, when Chase comes up with Ken in that roller section, Chase is on the outside, and you can actually tell at one point Chase was giving up. Like he knew he couldn't pass him. Like he was like, all right, he's gonna block me, and then he realizes like Ken doesn't. Like he kind of lets him go. And I think, as a rider, you sense 2 things. Like Chase kind of can sense like maybe Ken's starting to like funnel back, and as tendencies, like I say, certain riders are super strong in the beginning. Like normally when Ken wins races, he dips out on these fools like in the jump. Like he holds shots and he's gone. And they even talked about it on the broadcast, like he was like a second or 2 seconds up the first lap. So I believe, like watching it from past history, if you can keep Ken within a couple seconds, then you feel like, okay, I got a chance. And that's just a narrative of like just the way Ken's been in his career. He's been so dominant and so good in the beginning part of races. Usually he's gone, and if you give him 4 or 5 seconds, you ain't catching him. So I think when everybody stayed close to him and Chase did, Chase sensed that, okay, I need to make the move, because I think Ken's starting to slow down, Eli's starting to come up, and El Hombre's just pulled out his gun, so you know how he is. So I think Chase wanted to make the move. So when Chase went around the outside, he gave up, because you ain't gonna pass nobody on the outside like that in that tight corner, and then Ken just let him go. I think it's part of that is, I wouldn't say it's his teammate, because if he was aggressive there, it wouldn't have been aggressive. Like, all he had to do was move over literally an inch, and he would have just blocked Chase, because Chase wasn't trying to get him. But I think that's just Ken. Maybe, I don't know, maybe he was struggling with the bike, maybe he had an arm pump, but he definitely rolled over right there, and it was weird. It was kind of weird to see, and it was kind of tells us that I don't think he's fully I wouldn't say invested, that's the wrong word. I don't think he's fully back in believing that his fitness and his whole program's back. I think he's still happy to be up on the podium and just get these points and maybe slowly like build into it, because I think if there was anybody else, a title, believing in their program, El Hombre would blast his ass. Anybody else, I think they would have blasted him. But the fact is, partly teammate and partly like, okay, if you block him right here, he's probably going to get around me in a couple corners anyway. So since he's my teammate, I just let him go through. That to me shows more about, it's a bigger picture than just like that pass. And I think that hurts. Like, I think that hurts Ken. Like, I'm be honest with you. Like, I think that hurts him. I think it shows a little bit of weakness, and I'm not being negative, but I think the whole point of like his Instagram post and him coming back was to show people, from what he's saying, to show people he's not done, and he's not, it's not going to be the same Ken and whatnots. And I think just kind of letting him by, maybe kind of bleeds back into that tendency. Now, the flip side of things is, I'm not saying that he should have taken him out, because that's not what he should have done. And I'm not saying that like he gave up, because I ain't saying that either. But what I am saying, like, there's a part where you race people, and there's a part where, just like Barsha uses and Jason uses, when you get around certain guys, it makes you nervous, right? Like, it's time for the IRS to get you a check, you want to make sure you get nervous, right? You get nervous. Police shows up, you get nervous. You ain't done anything wrong. So I think when you get around these certain guys, like, you get nervous. They ain't do nothing. Like, I think there was one race this year, Jason was behind Marvin, and I said Marvin fell because Jason was just behind him. I think that's a part of like racing, and these guys are so close. And when you have everybody so close, then those are the things that I think separates the guys that's going to win the title and the guys that's real threats to the guys that might win a race here and there. And you just show that stuff. And I think this year, the difference in Supercross with Eli was that he didn't have those moments. He didn't have the ET moments like he did last weekend in the first race. He was different. And everybody sensed that he was different. They was waiting for him to be like, okay, something's going to go wrong. He's just going to fade back. And when he didn't do that, it changed the whole narrative about like, okay, this guy's going to be here. So I think Ken, just that letting him by, it's just not a good look for racing guys that are so close. So next weekend, maybe he knock his ass down. I don't know. I don't know. But I think just letting him go just shows that, to me, it's like next time Chase comes up to him, he knows he's going to do the same thing. And, it's more about sending a message in this, more than just letting him go by. And again, I'm not saying he should have took Chase out and whatever. It's not a negative. I'm just saying that, when you're coming back and there's these riders, you're looking for every single minute, inch to use it to beat these guys and race against them. So letting them go by like that in a tight corner when the guy just gave up, like, cause he knew like, well, I mean, I shouldn't be able to pass him right here. He's got the line closed off, and you let him go. I just think overall it just ends up going against you, and it just tells that guy that he ain't back yet, and I got him. And so, we'll see what happens. I mean, I don't think that's going to make a break Ken's championship. He's going to win it. He's going to win it anyway. But I just think, to me, watching it, El Hombre wouldn't have done that. And I think Chase wouldn't have even done that. I think he would have just like at least blocked him out, held him off for another corner. Should have just held him off for another corner. That's what I'm saying. So, but what do I know? I'm talking about it. I'm just talking about it. I probably did the same thing too. I probably let him by, but if I let him by like that, that means I was tired. I wasn't even trying to race the dude. I was too tired to even go out and block the dude. I didn't even want him to go around. So who knows? Hopefully I'm wrong. I hope I am.
I was just trying to manage. At the same time, we want to win, but not at all costs. So I just try to stay at least on the podium, and we want to be consistent the whole year.
Like you could just tell, like he doesn't believe. And at the end of the day, I mean, the guy's been hurt. I mean, he had one of the gnarliest injuries in our sport ever. And you give him the fact and credit for coming back. But I guess at the end of the day, like if you come back and you race and you say, I'm going to do this, I'm not done, and like watch this, blah, 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 and you go out and you do that, and it just like contradict. Now, like go out, like what he should have said is like, look, like I'm happy to be back. I feel like I'm not done, and it's going to take me a little bit, but I'm slowly get back in here to be the champion that I ever was. Like it's the F-bombs and all that stuff, the animosity and anger that he put out because people were like doubting him. Then like that's the part that I'm like, well, why you let that happen? Like the F-bomb should have been like, look, dude, you ain't gonna roll around me on the outside. Like you still might beat me, but I ain't letting you roll over because I'm back. Like I'm back. The fact is he rolled over in a sense. And who knows what's in his mind and all that. I mean, he's telling us after the podium where he's like, I want to win it, and I don't want to win at all costs. I mean, yeah, all riders know that. I mean, shoot, I want to win, but nobody wants to die trying unless, you die trying. Like, I had some incidents, but I think overall every champion has like, look, dude, this ain't going to happen. Like, this ain't going to happen. When I knocked Ricky off at WashU 106, it was not going to happen. I knew he was going to end up getting me, people. Like, I knew he was going to pass me, but not right there. He wasn't going to get me right there. And I sent the message to where when we crossed the checker flag after Ricky beat me, he was like, come here, Jay. Come here, man. Like, he was like, bro, like, look, man, I'm sorry. I ain't mean to hit you like that. And I'm like, nah, dude, it's all right. It's all right. It's all right. It wasn't all right. But I sent that message of like, look, man, you might win and you might be faster than me, but I ain't no punk. I ain't no punk. And every time, that was the last time he did that. He didn't try to do that anymore. And I think that's the part where I'm saying that me and Ricky have so much respect, and he knew the only time that like things could get ugly between us if he starts something and he hits me. Otherwise, I ain't gonna mess with him. Like, I mean, he's gonna beat me. I'm gonna race him hard, but I ain't no punk either. And I think that's just part of that mindset. And when you got these guys out here and they're looking, we're all waiting for one guy to show up and just be stronger mentally and faster. Because you had Cooper Webb. I would say he's strong. Jason's strong. But Cooper's not as fast as everybody else. But can you imagine like Cooper Webb with Chase Sexton's like riding, or Cooper Webb with ET when he's on that? Like a guy that could be on a completely different level. Like if you had to race against that guy, man, shoot. Man. But we don't have that guy. We got guys that want to win. But some guys are super fast, but some guys have some other issues and stuff. So we're waiting for one guy to come up, and why not be that guy? So as I'm saying, if you're showing weakness on that, and not even saying Roczen was doing the weakness part or whatever, he's got his own reasons, and more powerful to you, man. Like, I'm with you, and I'm saying it because I want you to win. I want you to win. Like, dude, I like it. But send the message, bruh. Send the message. You back. I want the Instagram Ken. I want the guy who wrote that message. When he said F this, F that, I want that guy. I don't want the guy that was under my table. He's been stuck under the table. Ken's here. I don't know who that guy is out there. I don't want that guy. I want the guy that was giving the business. They gave me the business. I want that guy. Nobody's saying like either you got to win or you should crash. Like, nobody's saying that. Like, shoot, I didn't even do that. As many times I crashed, like, I never went out there like, I'm just going to, like, just throw it away on there. Like, but what I did do is, like, I I would say send messages or whatnot to, if I'm coming back like this. And like I said, it all spawns off of like that Instagram. Like if that Instagram wasn't there, like then I would be happy for what you just back, man. Like you were back. I was cool. Like, oh, Ken's racing this year. Cool. But you got me excited when you start saying that stuff. And then like, I'm not harping on this moment, but I'm harping on this moment. Like, I just think like that little move right there puts you back 3 races. Now you got to do 3-4 things to 86. What just happened right there? And it's not what happens. It's not that you got beat by Chase, because Chase is going to beat you anyway. I mean, if you took him out, he was going to beat you anyway. And you knew it. He knew it. And ain't nothing wrong with that. But what it did say, it said a bigger picture of, you don't think that you can win this thing yet. You don't think that you're back yet. Or you don't, like, you're just happy to be here. That's not a good message to send, especially when you send those messages. So that's all I'm saying, people. That's all I'm saying. I just want that guy, the Instagram Ken. I want the F you. All y'all that doubted me, all this F and this, that's who I want on there. And we all know he can do it. I know he can do it. Maybe I'm his bigger supporter because I'm tough on Ken because I know he can do it. He's got more talent than anybody out there. So goddamn it, Ken, show it. Show it. I want the Instagram. I want that version. I'm pissed now. I'm pissed. Yeah, this weekend with Chase's bike, his bike looked pretty good these first couple races, and he switched to BFR shock. And if you know about BFR shocks, I'll just give you a little schooling of that. When I raced it, they're a little bit slower. Like they're a different type of reservoir in the shock. I mean, not to get too technical in it, but I would say if it's a kind of the same concept of when I did it, it's just a little bit slower. The rebound's a little bit slower. So you don't, when the bike moves, it moves a little bit slower. It doesn't kick you in the butt. Doesn't have that super chattery thing on there. It's a little bit slower on that. So certain parts of the track, it works better. I think coming into those downhills, I think Chase looked really good going down the downhills. That's where that BFR shock would work better because it's not kicking him in the booty coming down. But then you go up that roller section, that section where he passed Roczen, it necessarily doesn't work as well in there because it doesn't have as much time to recover compared to the standard shock. The standard shock has a little bit more rebound in it, and it works better on certain things. Slower shock works better going down the hills, the rebound, anything that you have more load on the front end, or you're able to, you're trying to keep the rear end from kicking up on you. But sometimes it doesn't work coming out of a corner when it has a lot of braking bumps, because I think that's where having a little bit quicker rebound allows the tire to get to the ground quicker, which allows you to get more traction to a certain sense. So the BFR and standard shock, it's rider preference. It's kind of what you're looking for. And this weekend, you can kind of see the difference around the racetrack. I think where Jason was quicker, it to me, it was a little bit bike setup, but also line selection. Where Chase was quicker, he was actually really good downhill. And if you notice, Chase was standing up a lot more going into the corners and stuff. Like I think his bike having that shock and having the suspension being a little bit more, set up. I wouldn't say set up for him, but more slower. I think allowed him to stand up a little bit longer going into it because the bike wasn't going, north and south to him. It was doing it, but it was going in a slower. It was going slower for him, so it was allowing him to stand up. So going down certain parts in these ruts, he was able to kind of just stand up to the last minute. So I think that's a part of his setup that he's going for compared to when you look at maybe Eli and Jason. Their bike setup was just a little bit different, but in certain parts, it allowed them to, come up and have a little bit better traction in certain parts. So this weekend, Chase put on a new shock compared to what I guess he had last weekend. And even with Ken, he had a different shock than what Ken had. And you can see the difference. And that's just the difference between a slower rebound, the BFR shock, compared to the normal standard one. So it's rider preference. It's what certain guys want. Like I liked it, the BFR or slower rebound setting shock. To me, I never wanted to get tagged in the booty. I didn't like that feeling. And so I think Chase was going for that, and that's kind of what it looked like. So last weekend in the 250 class, the way Jet looked and even Hunter, they looked clearly better than Field, and it was great to see the Field somewhat catch up to him a little bit. I thought Shimoda rode really well this weekend. Is actually the best I've seen him ride outdoors, maybe ever. He looks really good. Looks like his speed's there, because I think in years past, Joe's always been strong. That kind of maybe a bad start, but always strong at the end, where I think this year he actually looked like he had speed, which bodes well for him. But, you know, he had a tip over in the second moto. Otherwise, I think he probably would have won that race. I don't think Jet would have put up too much of a fight with Joe or anybody at that stage, because he definitely was not feeling well. Even his brother, I think if his brother would have caught him in that second motor, he would have got him, but he fell over too. But the only other person I see out there that has speed like those guys is Justin. And just like Chase in the 450 class, Justin gets really good starts. So if he continues this pace and starts getting better, I think he would be another guy that's up there fighting with those guys. So coming into this, if it was going to continuation, it's a difference that they had compared to everybody else. You would just kind of expect that it was going to be the same thing this weekend. And even though they went 1-2 in the second moto, at least there were some other guys that showed some potential. So I think a part of that was, maybe the track setup, guys getting better, and then Jet being sick. So we'll see how it goes next weekend. But it just showed a little bit of light in everybody else. So yeah, they talked about it a little bit on the broadcast. I didn't realize he was this sick. But I knew watching the first moto, like, I'm like, wait a minute, like he's not attacking things like he normally does. And he's always so smooth that, you know, it's never like, you look at him, it's just like a burst of speed. Like Jeremy Martin, he always looks like he's going so much faster than he is. And usually, I mean, he is a 2-time champion in this thing. And I don't even know where he's at. I guess he's hurt, but he ain't there. But when you look at certain guys, you just look at him like they visually look like they're going fast. Or Jet, he looks like he's riding the same, but what you notice is that his momentum is quicker. Like his stop and go is quicker, and that's where his speed comes from. And that's the only difference you can tell by how quickly he just goes through stuff, not how hard he, you know, charges into things. So anyways, I was watching that first moto, and I saw his brother behind him. And like, it was weird to see how much faster Hunter would catch Jet. Like their line selection is a little bit different, but there was a couple laps where when Hunter was behind Jet, you could see like over the overhead shot, like he would catch like 10 bike lengths, like going into a corner. It was wild. I haven't seen that in a while. And, you know, especially like somebody like Jet, who's really good at keeping his momentum up. You can just see how much quicker and how much that part was down for him compared to where his brother. And his brother rode really well. He crashed like 8 times and still was right there. So I think that's when I knew, like, all right, something's up with him. Either, you know, he didn't look like he was uncomfortable with the bike. It just looked like there was something off, and then clearly he was sick. And then the second moto, you can tell when Jet was sitting on there on the gate, he had his head down, like he wasn't feeling it. And I guarantee you, when Jet was sitting on that gate, if Jet would have got a 10th place start, he probably would have finished like 8th on there. If Jet pulled the whole shot, he would have done what he did. And what he did was ride at like 80%. He just rode around. And like I talked about in 450 class, that the way the track was set up, you were able, if you're out front, you can just move over and block the guys, which enabled you to actually have a chance to relax and catch your breath. And I think this track, the whole setup was perfect for somebody who's just trying to get through the moto. And compared to if he was like in Hunter's position, or he had to make time up and exert that energy to catch guys, I don't think he would have been able to do it. But I think the fact is he got the whole shot and he was able to, you know, just ride and do his thing. Because if you watch the way Jet was riding, he was standing up a lot, you know, wasn't making any mistakes. He didn't start really kind of pushing it into like the last 2 laps to just hold it off. But the whole moto, I think if Joe would have got up to him, Joe would have passed him. If Cooper would have got up to him close enough, he would have passed him. I don't think Jet would have put up too much of a fight. But the fact is, they never got that close to put him in a situation to make the decision where, look, I know I don't have the energy. I'm sick. So I'm going to either have to try to push it. I think he was in the luxury of, you know, his 80, 90% was still good enough to win this race. That just shows how good he is. And the track allowed him to just do his thing and move over and save that energy. So it was a championship ride, in my opinion. And I think we've all us racers had that. I know I had. that kind of race, and some races I was throwing up and sick, and I'm like, dude, like I can't even make this moto. And you always find yourself pulling the whole shot of just being out there and just being able to ride, and you get surprised every weekend. Every time you do it, you're just like, dude, I'm riding at like 80% and I'm up front. So Jet was doing that, and it was just good, and he was able to get the overall this weekend. But clearly the fastest person was Shimoda. Joe rode really well, and I just, damn, man, like he fell over. He just felt like he was gonna fall over when he gets that close, but he rode well, and Hunter rode really good too. And you know, so it was good to see that, and it was nice to see Justin kind of come back and have some you know, a little bit better performance than he did the weekend before. But nonetheless, it was Jet Lawrence doing his thing. And it's actually a perfect name for the brothers, right? Like, hold up. That was good. Sorry, people. When you got the brothers, right? You got Lawrence boys. And this race was like, I guess their whole career. When you look at both of them, you got Jet Lawrence and you got Hunter Lawrence. Now, Jet is perfect for him. He pulls a whole shot. He's jetting. Like he jets out on people. Jet fuel. Like he's just fast. Pulls a whole shot, just dips out. And then you got Hunter. And he's always hunting. Like this weekend, he's hunting these boys down. Like even in the Supercross, he's the guy that's always coming. Like he's just hunting them down. And then you got Jet, who could just jet off. So I'm like, I don't know if they dad did it right. Like he just knew the way the boys, their whole riding style, because Jet wouldn't be Hunter and Hunter wouldn't be Jet the way they ride. And the way they ride, they fit their first names perfectly. So I don't know. I thought it was cool. Hunter was hunting them fools down. And then he shot himself in on foot. And he got up with one leg and came back, and he was still hunting them. But Jet, he just had more fuel than everybody else. And he was able to jet off with that overall, that red plate. And whatever you can say, gas is going up. Jet fuel is expensive. And it cost him, cost everybody else a first place, but he got it. So nonetheless, Jet did what he did, and he got the plate. Overall, the 250 class was good. Congrats to Jet. And I almost forgot it, but I can't forget it. And we always have to do it. And with somebody, with the weather being a little off, just like last weekend, a little cooler, and him being under the weather, sometimes you like to have that nice warm soup. You know, like mama like to tuck you in, give you some blankets and stuff. You nice to stay warm. So he gonna appreciate what he's about to get right here for, Cole. Suntan, neck's on fire. You know he had to get a neck burn. Jet Lawrence, congratulations. You got a neck burn. You wasn't even feeling well. You got Johnny. You just got a neck burn, and he had to put you out because you on fire. Like he hit you with water like, that's because your neck was hot, son. And it was hot. Red plate, Jet, congratulations, kid. Hunter's pissed. He's like, oh, punch my brother in the face. Little brother whooping up on me like this, and he's sick. It's all right, you'll get your chance, son. Joe, I had a name for him. I'm gonna start calling him not your average Joe. Shimoda. That's what it is. Cause he ain't your average Joe. He trying to do his thing on there. He definitely ain't. He was definitely rocking this weekend. You know, normally, sometimes average Joe, like Joe is average Joe. Like he's just there, you know, just a fifth place. Just kind of average. Average Joe. But not this weekend. He definitely wasn't your average Joe. He was trying to get these boys to business. He was going to show them how we do on the far East Coast. But he fell over. But that's okay. Average Joe got up and still was trying to show him. And it bodes well for him. It was good to see average Joe with a little bit more than average speed. So we'll see how that continues. Hey, you know, Chase was taking out all day. He was taking out Lapper. He reminded me of the way I took out that 245 back in 2003, Anaheim 3. Supercross. Cleaned that Lapper out. I still have nightmares of that. I don't know why I did it to that kid. I'm sorry. I can't even think of your name. But you own a Suzuki, and I took you out for no reason, son. It was bad. I got knocked out. The gods didn't like me for taking him out. And I even with Chase, you could tell he was like coming in like, like, well, 450's like, and he hit the dude. I don't think he did it on purpose, too much of a purpose, but he cleaned the dude out. 216's like, God damn, man, I'm just trying to get out. Bam! I hear he thought Barsha hit him. He didn't know what happened. But nonetheless, Chase was trying to keep that neck burn going on. He had El Hombre and ET went ET last weekend, but not this weekend. And I said it, people. I said it. Between him and El Hombre, somebody had to show up. They had to show up on there. And I think Eli, man, I ain't gonna lie to y'all, he's still scared. You know, they haven't got that bike completely set up, because when he started going for it, you can tell he goes, Daddy can't afford diapers this way if he's hitting the deck. So you can watch him, even though he's back, he ain't back yet. But it was good to see him get that win. And hopefully with that fist pump on there, hopefully this continuation of just getting better. But it wasn't him this weekend. Chase rode great. And he had 2 seconds. And I think overall between, maybe 70 minutes of racing, he might have lost by a full maybe second and a half and all that. But still, there was only one guy in that 450 class to get a neck burn. And he hasn't had one of these outside before. He ain't never had one of them. And I talked about it. I said, man, he needed to get it. He needed to get it. And when he got the neck burn, he didn't even know he had the neck burn. People, he had to ask the AMA. He was like, hey, man, like, did I win or something? Like on that 1, 2, 6, 8 math. 1, 3 beats 8, 6, whatever. And the guy was like, yeah, you got it. He was like, woo, New Mexico. Hit him with it, Cole. Jason Anderson.
Neck's on fire.
It was on fire, son. And we didn't even get that right. See, I didn't get the neck burn right. Just like how when you cross checker flag, you didn't even know if you won overall, because it was like, it was kind of up in the air. So the neck burn wasn't even neck burn perfectly. But at the end of the day, you got it and they didn't. Congratulations, the first one ever out of New Mexico, Haines City, Florida, California, New Jersey, wherever you're from, Jason Anderson. It was your time to get burnt. And boy, you look good doing it. Jason Anderson, you got the neck burn. All right, people, we're going to take a quick break. You know what time it is. My favorite time, your favorite time, hell of all us favorite time, Stews and Stews. But first, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. All right, guys, we back. You know what time it is. My favorite time, your favorite time, hell, it was all our favorite time. This list. If you on this list, you just happy. Why? Because you're a stew. That means you're a stud. You did something good or something happened that made you like, damn, that guy is a stew. So stews, first one, you know how it is. Like if you win the race, it's just natural. Like, cause you're better than everybody else. It's just stupendous. You did a stupendous job to win the race. So it puts you at a default. Don't matter how you win it, you just won it. Even if you go 2-2, 3-3, 1-3, no 3, but you got the neck burn. That's all that matters. Jet Lawrence is a stew. He was sick doing it, people. Stupendous job. I mean, yeah, his brother was there. He had your average Joe, not so average this weekend, but no, he couldn't know. Cooper, trying to get him in the coop. Nah, not today, because it was the Lawrence. He did it on one knee, I don't even know what he had. He was just sick. He was sick and tired of whooping up on you fools, but he did it again. So, of course, he's a stew. And then another one in the real class, the big boy class, Jason Anderson. I wouldn't even say he's a default because, yeah, technically he won. But it's his first time, people. You know how you're first? You got love for that for days, forever. Some people fall in love for it. Your first time ever, Jason Anderson. So you a stew. You've been a stew a few times this year, but this time, first time outside, got the neck burn. Didn't even know you won. That's how excited you were. You didn't even know. You didn't even know. You asked the AMA guy, did I win? He was like, yeah. He's like, woo, woo. Jason Anderson, you're a stud. And then I don't even know, people. I always trip. You got my two defaults, and I put Jet in this and Jason to kind of fill the spots. I can't think of anybody else. Can y'all think of somebody else? I mean, I would say Eli. Is he a stew? He's always been one. I mean, he's probably stew, and stew. His results got this weird asterisk thing on it, and I can't figure it out. He's saying he's hurt, but I never seen that, because if they did that when I was there, it would be on there all the time. They probably give me 2 or 3 of them. We all hurt. So I don't know. Everybody, look, we all stews. Let's just do it, okay? I said that because I don't know who else it is, but those are your stews. All of us. Jet Lawrence, Jason Anderson for his first time. Didn't even know he won first time. But this one, they both got neck burns default. So that means they are Stews, and everybody else that race, y'all Stews too. But to get on this list, there's 2 of y'all and all of us. That's your list. All right, people. Now this list. Stewed. Pissed off. Pissed off. Pissed off because you can't even figure out who to put on this list. Pissed off because last weekend, nobody was pissed off enough to be on this list. This weekend, there was a lot of people that's pissed off, but I don't know if they're that pissed off where we put it on the Stews or whatnot. I mean, I would say the lap riders, they stew. I think this one got, isn't it 216 or something? He got taken out. Chase was out there taking out everybody. He was mad. He was up there like, yo, but I'm trying to, bam. That's how we do it in Illinois. Took out food like that, getting in his way on there. Now, I didn't even know. The guy was like, look, dude, just bam. He got cleaned out. Eli was like, bro, well, we don't do that in Colorado. We don't do that over here. Illinois, them boys crazy. I don't know. But I know he pissed. Some of the lappers, they pissed. They couldn't even get out the way. Track fault. It wasn't even their fault. So they pissed off. I'm pissed off. Shoot, I'm kind of feeling like I was last weekend. I mean, my pick with Mr. RD gone long 5 years, my take was a little pissed off because I know Ryan, he pissed off because he didn't have his performance, but I'm still believing in that pick because you know what? History tells me that you can never take the champ out. He's been bathing in Minnetonka, people. He been bathing up there with Prince. God rest his soul. Oh! So, hell, I mean, it's bad, but it ain't that bad. So, I don't know. So, I'm going to just go with the lappers. That's it. That's it. They stewed. And if I keep doing this, I'm going to be stewed too. Justin Bogle, I don't even know what happened to you. You're too smooth. You're too smooth for your own good. 37 DNF. Didn't even know it. Justin Barsha, look, man, let it go. Let it go. People move on. Them Utahs, they still booing you, but let it go. Don't let them dictate your performance. People forgive, whatever. They can date like 8 women up there. Marry them. Just let it go. They just want to see you back. I want to see you back. I mean, look, am I upset? Yeah, you tried killing my brother. Utah, they feel the same way. But come on, man, come on. I didn't know you were racing until they did the highlight videos and they weren't even showing you. You just happened to be in the picture. I was like, damn, Justin there? Come on, where you at, Bam Bam? Alex Martin's back. He must have came in from Seattle, scooped him up. They must have had to shut down the stadium and get ready for the Seahawks. They had to move him down. So he's back here. But that's it, people. I'm just going on. Your Stews, the lap riders, and then, you know, for me, whatever, all y'all. But that was it. Round 2, we had Jet Lawrence. Hit him with a neck burn, Cole.
Suntan.
We had
fire.
See, that's how stewed this is. See, Jason Anderson, because you didn't know that you won your first race and it was confusing to me, I'm messing up the neck burn for everybody else. And Jet wasn't fully healthy, so he gets the messed up neck burn anyway. So let's start that over. Cole, hit him for Jet Lawrence, please.
Suntan. Neck's on fire.
Neck was on fire, sick on fire. So sick, Johnny O had to put fire on you. And Jason, I know it wasn't the way you wanted. I didn't know you didn't even know you got it. But it was still a neck burn. It was your first one ever, and you'll never forget it. Just like that first love. Just like that first time. Hit it, Cole.
Suntan. Neck's on fire.
Next on fire, Jason, congratulations. Now, all y'all have to step up because it's still, in my opinion, it's still running red. Chase Sexton, good job. Ken Roczen, God damn it, come on, take him out. Get back. E.T., you're going to fix it. They're going to have to fix that bike. Daddy riding scared. I ain't going to lie, he riding scared. But I know the Blue Crew, they just won a title last year. They won a title last year and you won one this year and you're trying to get another one. So they'll figure it out and you sure will. Everybody else, we just waiting for y'all. Come back. Until then, we'll see you at round 3. I don't even know where y'all going, but y'all going there. Where they going, Cole?
Thunder Valley.
Thunder Valley. Oh, snap. Eli going home. Whoop, whoop. Last time he was home, I remember him like getting, I ain't going to say it. I got carted off there too, but I ain't going to say it. We'll see you guys next weekend at Thunder Valley. Well, I'll see y'all on TV in Thunder Valley. Y'all see me right here next weekend on the recap. But until then, that was it. Round 2. Lucas Oil Motocross, Pissed Off, Stews, everybody. I love you guys. Until then, stay black. Can we run that?
We can do whatever you want. It's your show.
It is my show, ain't it? It's our show. Bye.